Welcome to the 2020 Zebulon Chamber annual meeting. We're so glad you're here. My name is Maria Southard, and I'm the Membership Engagement Coordinator for the Zebulon Chamber of Commerce. It is my pleasure to share with you a number of the incredible businesses that we have the pleasure of partnering with. The first of these are our chamber partners, GSK and US Foods. Developed in 1983, GlaxoSmithKline is our largest local employer. They supply products to the US and export to markets around the globe. Everything they do is to ensure the patient can do more, feel better, and live longer. The second is US Foods of Eastern North Carolina, who supplies the highest quality food-related products to more than 5,000 restaurants, healthcare facilities, hotels, schools, and government agencies throughout Central and Eastern North Carolina and Southeastern Virginia. We help you make it, is their motto. Next is our visioneering sponsors, which include ERA Parish Realty, Victory Lane Quick Oil Change, and Nameco. Our enterprising sponsors are Duke Energy, Smith Debnam, United Community Bank, Vinventions, Weaver's Pond, Comfort Master Heating and Air, and Ready Roofing. Other partners include Old Raleigh Distillery, where we are filming part of the pieces for this annual meeting, soon to be open right here in downtown Zebulon. Thank you so much for Brandon for allowing us to use parts of your space. And also Eastwake TV behind the camera on that side. Thank you so much for helping us create our first ever digital event. To all our partners, we say thank you for your continued commitment to the economic success of our community and our region. I'd also like to recognize our elected officials for their dedication to Zebulon. Mayor Robert Matheny, Mayor Pro Tem Glenn York, Town Council members Beverly Clark, Annie Jean Moore, Larry Laux, and Shannon Baxter. To all our chamber members, we say thank you. Thank you for being businessmen and women that we are proud to admire, and for making a difference through your support and the ways you continue to have a positive impact on the growth of Zebulon. We couldn't do it without you. As the rest of our event unfolds, I'd like to offer a prayer over our time. Lord, thank you so much for Zebulon, for the things that you're doing, those that we can see, like Old Raleigh, and those that we can't see. Thank you that you care about our community more than we do. Thank you that you are going before us, and that you just have brought together an incredible number of individuals, many of whom are watching this right now, who love you and are here to seek the good of their city, Lord. I just pray that you would fill our hearts with peace and joy, and strengthen our hands for the good work that you have us here to do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Hello, everyone. I am Pat McNally. I am an attorney here in town. I practice law with Andy Gay and Darren Jackson, and I've done so for a little over 16 years now. In addition to practicing law here in town, I've had the pleasure for about the last 4 years of serving on the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce. In addition to that 4-year period of time, I've spent the last 2, I think, as the board chair, which is a little unusual, but it was a wonderful experience nonetheless. Very proud of all the work that we've done as a board and all the wonderful people that I've worked with over the years, including board members that have volunteered their time as well as chamber staff. It's time to pass the torch on to a much more qualified board chair than me. Also has a much better beard than I do, Brandon McCreaney.
Thank you all, Zebulon. It is great to be here. I've just had a wonderful time getting acclimated to the town over the last year, but also in working with the chamber. And actually, chamber is one of the key reasons that I'm here, and why over the course of this last year, I've gotten more and more engaged with the chamber and the town. And so the opportunity came up to become, I guess, where I was asked to be chairman of the board. And happy to take that on as we move forward and be a part of this exciting phase of growth within Zebulon. So I look forward to opening. I look forward to getting to know all of you over the next year. As Pat mentioned, my name is Brandon McCreaney. I am the owner and a distiller and a whiskey blender here at Old Raleigh Distillery. We're located in downtown Arundel Avenue. And if you've been following me on social media over the last month, the last year, you'll notice that I've spent the last year getting entrenched, acclimated to the town, but also tearing apart our building, getting it ready for opening. So the great news is we're rolling up on November, and we're targeting construction completion just before Thanksgiving. I'm happy to be here. I'm loving the town. I'm loving the people. and I'm loving the future that we're going to all build together as part of Zebulon. So Thank you all again for attending, and I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you over the next few years. Thank you.
And now it is my great pleasure to introduce the one, the only Chamber President, Denise Nowell.
Thanks, Maria. Each year we gather annually to celebrate where we are as an organization. It's an opportunity for us to look back and see what's been accomplished, take a minute to look at where we are right now, and then take a look forward and see where we're headed for the future. This is also the time of year where we thank our board of directors and acknowledge all of that they've invested into our organization to keep us moving forward. This year especially, during all of the tumultuous times surrounding COVID-19, our board has done a great job of making sure that our organization is secure and is able to move forward. And so I just want to acknowledge Alonzo Avalez with BB&T, now Truist, Albert Alwang, who is with Wake County Economic Development, Angie Denton with US Foods, Jennifer Williams with Vinventions, Brandon McCraney, who you just met as our new board chair with Old Raleigh Distillery, Cindy Aggers with GSK, and then also Sandra Waddell with Del Rich CPAs. We are grateful for each of you, and we know that we couldn't continue moving forward without you. A glance back at 2019 reminds us that time marches on and we are not promised tomorrow. Our community has continued to see growth in so many arenas. From developments to new businesses, Zebulon has continued moving forward. Here are some highlights from 2019. Record attendance at last year's annual meeting, which was in person. Launch of the Business Retention and Expansion Program for Economic Development. We provided internships for 6 high school and college students. We held a first ever Emerging Business Roundtable that has evolved into several other business roundtables, and it's making a difference for several of our small and medium-sized businesses here in town. Our second Zebulon Next for Workforce Development was hosted. We participated in the first ever Wake County Hotel Development Summit, which resulted in a hotel developer asking for a meeting with us and an opportunity to come and tour Zebulon. We introduced a new benefit to our members through FSI, which is a supplies company, and that's something that's exclusive for our members. And then 21 new businesses decided to support commerce and economic growth through their membership with the Zebulon Chamber of Commerce. We're very grateful. Other great things that happened in downtown, in Zebulon this year, the downtown mural by the Zebulon Downtown Arts Council, our greatest and biggest ever tree lighting festival. Town commissioners approved the Unified Development Ordinance. May Day in Zebulon grew to a 2-day event, and we welcomed 3 new commissioners on the board for town council. So many seeds that have been planted years ago are beginning to bear fruit, and it's exciting to see that. Commerce doesn't stop, even for a pandemic, and we're excited to know that although a lot of us have had to figure out how to continue growing our businesses or even keep our businesses surviving, we know that there's continued growth, and we're excited about what's ahead. So another first of doing our annual meeting digitally is our speaker for the event, who would have been with us live, is actually here with us today. Thank you, Mr. Noël, for being here. Marc Noël is part of the Noël Group, and he and his family have been a part of this community for many years. We're excited for you to hear his story. He's an entrepreneur by heart, and I think some of the things that he's going to share with us today are going to be not only inspiring, but also just life-giving, and we're really grateful that you're part of this community.
So thank you again, Denise, and indeed it's an interesting setting that we have due to the pandemic, a first for me too. So I'm looking forward to addressing a few words to you, and thank you very much to the Chamber and to my fellow members to give me the opportunity to share some thoughts with you. But before I do that, I'd really like to express my gratitude and very special thank you to the Chamber and to Denise in particular, who has transformed the Chamber here since I'm here 30 years. And it is palpable in the community, and I really appreciate the work of the Chamber very much. And so do I appreciate, and do we all at Noël Group appreciate the work of the town. The town of Zebulon has been very special to us, and we have continuous support by the police department, by the fire department, and of course by the mayor and the town manager. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So when Denise asked me to address you as a group, thought it's probably very fitting to talk about COVID. And I will, not about COVID as such, but how we do address the challenges that the pandemic presents to us. But before I do that, just like to introduce myself and introduce our company. So I'm Marc Noël, founder and chairman of a holding company called Noël Group. And Noël Group is actually an industrial holding company that owns and manages several industrial legs. One is the original company Nomeco Inc., and the other one is Inventions LLC, formerly known by most of you probably under the name of Nomacork LLC. What do? We are manufacturers. We are nuts and bolt manufacturers. We transform synthetic materials into numerous applications, and we're very diversified. Our main industries are the wine industry, of course, with a large set of products that go into the closure end of the wine bottles. We manufacture about 3 billion of those closures a year. We are very heavily into the construction industry with insulation products, with sealant products. We're in the sports and leisure industry. We've developed new structural foams that we call Herculean, by the way, that are produced at GNIC, which is the Gert Noël Innovation Center, named after my father, who was by far the most creative person in the family. And there we produce structural foams for the RV industry, recreational vehicles, for ambulances, for pontoon boats. Airstream is a big customer of ours, so is U-Haul. So a very diverse manufacturing transformation of synthetic and foam materials. So why the town of Zebulon? We moved, my wife and an 8-week-old daughter, Judith, moved to the United States from Belgium in 1979, April 1979. We spent 10 years in Connecticut, started a company there, acquired a company in California, and in end of 88, we moved to Zebulon. And I'm asked many times, why specifically Zebulon? Well, one is that Jim Hunt, the governor, 4-time governor, in between his two legislative periods of governorship, was very, very active in bringing us in here. And he's from Wilson, so this Triangle East area was very dear to him. But really, it is the town of friendly people. And we noticed that when we moved here, and the way we were welcomed here, as compared to over 100 other locations that we looked at in North Carolina and actually all over the Southeast. So, and since then, who I call our mayor for life, Bob Matheny, has been incredibly supportive. Joe Moore, since he is the town manager, has been incredibly supportive, and we appreciate the help of Zebulon very much. So it's a special place for us, and to me, it's a very special place in my heart. Worldwide, we run about 9 plants here, 3 here in Zebulon, 4 in Europe, 1 in China, and 1 in Argentina. And these plants that are not in the United States operate on the basis of the wine industry and a whole panoply of wine closures. And the US plants concentrate primarily and mostly on all the other products. So maybe this is a segue for me into the COVID situation. And how do we as a company address this, and how are we doing in this environment? I'm extremely pleased and very proud of our teams who have instantly proceeded in protecting the company and our associates very much. And we have had only 10 cases out of 1,000 associates so far. Now, right now, it's exploding again, so we will see what happens. But we have been extremely diligent and extremely careful. And fortunately, our companies have done well. I don't want to talk about it too much because so many companies are out there that are suffering, in some segments and sectors that are suffering tremendously, and we feel for them. And if we can help in any way, we would like to do that, and we are doing this. And the reason why we believe that we are faring well in this is that we are very diversified. While there are some parts of our business that in May and June and even into July had dropped tremendously, others had grown tremendously. Our new products and our new technologies help in that very, very much, because there we start with very, very low market share. And gaining market share is always a big opportunity in times of difficulties, crisis, or recessions. And so therefore, overall, our companies are just very blessed to having very decent year. Our biggest challenge actually now is to finding enough labor and enough people to come and join us in our plants. So we have very special, I think, very special ways of dealing with issues because we are a true family-operated company. And meaning that all our associates are part of our family. So there are three areas that we define when we say, how do we address crisis? There's the technical area, there's the way where systematically we implement adjustments and changes, such as a very strict discipline. But more than that, we start all our processes with facing reality. So that people know this is for real. So we bring compassion. We have a whole team that does almost nothing but listen to the people and listen on how we can help. We have a help fund that we actually had long before COVID for crisis situations of our associates. There are just quite a large amount of money in there, and we've tapped in it several times. And you would think people would abuse it? No. It has been extremely well respected, and of course in this situation we tap into it to help families that are particularly in need in this COVID situation. So again, a real family approach, what you would do with your children, what you would do with your family. That's what we do with our associates. And then of course there is the importance of leadership. It all starts and ends with good or bad leadership. And I'm so proud to say that our leaders, and for your information, I'm not in the day-to-day management of our companies anymore. I've been in it for over 40 years. And we have young leadership, my son and my daughter, among others, and then our CEOs in the different companies. Their executive leadership teams have done a phenomenal job in being very close to the happenings, but through these happenings, very close to our associates. They've organized food drives, they've organized flower shares, they've organized all kinds of heartwarming things that make people feel good. And that's what's very important in this kind of environment. We are alone, we are secluded, we are in confinement, and therefore when they feel this warmth and this communication and this compassion, it makes a huge difference. My wife Cecile has become a master mask maker and supplies Wake Medical Children's Hospital every Monday morning with a box of her new mask that she made the week before, and they love it. They love it. The children, they wear it, the volunteer personnel, and even some doctors have switched to my wife's mask rather than the medical mask because they find them better. So which is very encouraging. So these are really good things to do, and that's what we do, and that's who we are. Business is only a thing, and business without the fun of the people isn't business anymore, in our definition. So we really preach that reality has to be recognized. And we discussed that also with our customers. I know the Chamber has a role, a very important role in relationship building and communication. That's what a good business does too. So we communicate with our customers very much, and in fact, we try to build our relationships even stronger through this COVID situation than we were able to do in good times, although we cannot travel as much, although we don't see them in person. But we've seen that over these months already, we have established new and stronger friendships than we ever had before. And it's a very essential thing to do. So what would I say to somebody who comes to me, and it has happened quite a number of times, asking about advice for the businesses who confront these very difficult situations and who might be actually struggling? Well, the first thing again is the truth, the truth, the truth. Just recognize it. Just be true to yourself. Know that this is reality. Once you have accepted that, you know how to make a plan to go about it, and then stay the course. More concretely, cash is king. So we need to make sure that we literally almost hoard cash and strengthen the balance sheets, even if COVID neglects the profit and loss statement a little bit. The balance sheet is the backbone, and the cash in the balance sheet is what makes us go over this hump. So that being said, there are tough decisions to be made in these kind of situations. And here again, when these tough decisions have to be made, layoffs, furloughs, substantial cost cuttings, we all need to be very, very open about explaining that to people. People do understand this. They might not like it. We don't like it. Nobody likes to make these decisions, but people do understand it and learn from it. And therefore, we have to be resilient. As individuals, we have to be resilient as a company. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we were able to somewhat adapt to this situation, while you will never adapt completely to a crisis like this. For example, some of our production we have shifted over to becoming component suppliers for the face shield industry, right? So we sell hundreds of thousands of feet of foam profiles for the face shields. We are even thinking of going into face shield production ourselves, which would make sense. It's a transformation of plastic materials, right? So COVID and this pandemic is truly a life-changing event. But let's put it into perspective, and let's look at what the silver lining of this could be, and comparing it to situations that might be much, much more trying. Just think about the world wars. I grew up right after in a part of Belgium, the eastern part of Belgium, right next to the German border. Went to school every morning, passing hundreds of completely destroyed homes. I mean, I see them right now in front of my eyes. That period of 5 years of hunger, of not enough food, of no electricity, of domination of certain countries, of other countries. And that is a whole different ballgame than what we're going through today. Now, our generation and the generation of our children has never lived anything like this. But let's put it into perspective and think about things that could be much worse, like a war that we have fought in different parts of the world. So there are several silver linings. We need to see the positive side of this. And one of the positive sides to see for business is this is a real occasion to reassess the purpose of the business. We are analyzing very thoroughly on, is this still the platform we want for the future? And truly, it isn't. There are numerous parts of our past platform pre-COVID that we are changing in many ways. And it would be too long here for me to go into the details. It's both from a cost structure standpoint as well as from a strategic standpoint and everything in between. And that's something that has guided me all along my life, is to really reassess what I do and what we do on almost a permanent basis. Life is a building process. It's permanent building. When we stop building, it's probably a sign of end of life, and that's not good. And you know, I personally compare it, and if you allow me to share that with you a little bit, personal experience that I had on March 22nd, 2016 at the Brussels airport. I was in the middle of the bombing of the terrorist attack of the Brussels airport, where within 8 seconds, about 50 yards from me, 2 bombs went off, and 4 minutes after I checked in at the Delta counter, right there at Delta and American, the second bomb went off, and I would have been killed right away. And fate and fortune had it that I wasn't, for a number of reasons. I wrote a long article about this and didn't understand it at first and had a lot of guilt feeling. But the silver lining, you know, you could say, wow, this is reason for depression for the rest of my life. Not so. The silver lining of it is that I recognized life is finite. And we better make sure we do everything we want to do in a good way before it's over. It encouraged me to reassess my whole transition and succession plan and accelerated it. Got together with the whole family. We discussed it in long, many hours and often several day meetings. And we defined exactly how we would want the succession of our family as well as our companies to go. And a magnificent plan was developed out of it. We had some advice from the outside on it, and it helped us. It helped us tremendously, and we are now almost at the end of this transition. So had that event not happened, we probably wouldn't be at the end of this transition. And I'm telling you that because it is not dissimilar to what we're living now with COVID, right? This is an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to reassess, are we doing things right? Or is it the right way we are going about certain things? Should we define a new platform? Should we do things differently? And you will discover by asking these questions that there is truly a silver lining. And that leads me maybe to the last part, where what has guided us as a company, and me as the entrepreneur in the company and the founder of the company, is really 3 simple words. And that's the who, the why, and the what. The who is the vision. Who are we? Who do we want to be? Who is it that we want to represent through what we do? So I call it the vision. The why is the mission. Is why are we doing this? Give people a reason that they can stand behind, go through fire for, to really be motivated to do this. And the what are the plans. So what do we need to do in order to get there? It's pretty simple. It's very basic. Warren Buffett approaches things like that, and I learned a lot from reading his books and his letters to the shareholders, because it is simple, and it should be simple. That's what people understand. And once you define this very, very clearly, then it defines the roadmap by itself. And you have a good roadmap, it leads to success. Success leads to motivation. Motivation leads to fun and to more successes. And that's what drives us. Right? It's as simple as that. But that needs to be done in order to be successful the way we at least define to be successful. So in closing, when Denise and I talked about this event, asked us anything that we could do, or you want us to send us a message with regard to the chamber mission. And I would say yes. I thought about that. And not to change anything in the mission, but to add maybe something that relates to this kind of period. Now a pandemic, in 5 years, 10 years, maybe another crisis, whatever it might be. Any crisis situation is to, in the role of the chamber, to be a connector, to be a relationship builder. Maybe to find those companies and to interview the companies that are fortunate and are privileged not to be hurt too much by the pandemic. versus those that need help, and try to be an intermediary on bringing these companies together so that the companies that are in a more privileged situation can help those who can't. Because we are so eager in trying to do what's right for us, necessarily, and we have to, that we don't have the time to look at what is out there and which companies out there need help. And most of the time, these companies might not want to admit that they need help. That's where I think the Chamber can play a role. And if the Chamber helps find these connections, I am sure there are numerous companies out there that are very willing to help, much more than they have found by themselves to be able to help. So I encourage Denise, Maria, the team to really work on that and to see if we can help in that way also. So that being said, again, thank you very much for having allowed me to share these thoughts with you. Unfortunately, there is no Q&A here in this kind of setting, but anybody who wants to talk to me or to my son or to anybody in our company, visit with us, have more information about how we do things. If you're interested, we are willing to share. We are going through this pandemic and through life of a company, a life of us together, and together we will win, together we will vanquish this situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marc. What an opportunity we have as a community. We are approaching a tipping point and so many things are in our favor. COVID-19 has disrupted our entire world. We've all had to rethink who we are, why we are in business, and how to move forward. And as I said earlier, commerce doesn't stop even with a pandemic. Growth is happening. Business leaders like you are investing. Emerging businesses are getting ready to launch. The town is working hard to be prepared through infrastructure, their Unified Development Ordinance, and our chamber is here for you. Our mission is to build relationships that drive commerce, and we couldn't do this without you. Each year, the Zebulon Chamber of Commerce recognizes a couple of businesses for their investment in our community. We're looking at businesses that exemplify community support and are making a difference for who we are and how we're growing as a community. This year, we're excited to say that the recipient of the Large Business of the Year award goes to Tryon Family Dentistry, and we're here to celebrate that with them. Leo, this is so exciting for us. Thank you for the investment that you've made in Zebulon, and we're super excited to be able to award you as the Large Business of the Year. Thank you so much for the investment that you've made in Zebulon. Last year at our annual meeting, you and Lindsay attended. You guys had just gotten here or just getting rolling, and now here we are a year later, and we're just super excited for you. So congratulations, and we are so grateful for all that you've done for Zebulon. So share with us a little bit about your story. Like, why did you pick Zebulon, and tell us a little bit about your practices.
Zebulon came about, I had some patients that actually travel from Zebulon to see me in my Raleigh office, and they've been asking for me to come out here just for the need of what we do in Raleigh to move out here into Zebulon so they didn't have to travel as far. So that's how originally we came up with the idea, and she had a lot of friends here, and I had some friends here telling me about the community. And so we found the bank, we bought the bank, we renovated the bank. I think it turned out great. It's been about a year and a half. The community has been fantastic so far. It's been an overwhelming response. We have patients not only coming from Zebulon, we have patients coming from Wilson, up in Rocky Mount, coming to see us for the services that we offer here. The main thing that we like about this area is just the community feel.
So our community is growing as far as like new expansion that's happening, but your practice is actually growing as well. So
yes, we're actually rapidly growing, which is nice. Normally something like this doesn't grow as fast, which is it's good. It's a really good problem to have. We actually have another dentist that's coming on to join us, and so we're really excited to open up open up more hours, open up more times. But it's been overwhelming.
Awesome. Well, we're excited for you, and we're thankful that you guys decided to come here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes. We're super excited. Every year we award a Small Business of the Year and Large Business of the Year for a business that we know has made a difference in our community. And this year we're so proud to be able to award it to you. So thank you, Betsy.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, on behalf of the entire team, we're really proud and honored to be here in Zebulon. So thank you so much. We're just so glad that Zebulon welcomed us with open arms.
So tell us a little bit about how you ended up landing here.
Yeah, so we moved from downtown Raleigh about 2 years ago, and we were looking for a bigger space to expand and grow. And so this was a great medium, intermittent space between Wilson, where my husband and I live, and downtown Raleigh. So we're glad to be here.
Our final celebration for this year is recognition of our Citizen of the Year award. Each year this is awarded as well to someone who has supported our community and helped us continue to find ways to give back. Last year, the award went to Tommy Massey, and we're so thankful for all the years that he's invested in Zebulon and the way he's made a difference for our community. In 2016, we acknowledged the loss of William E. Parrish, who had done so much to invest in this community. In 2017, and every year following, his daughter Renee has been the sponsor of this award, and so we're so proud to be able to say that the William E. Parrish Award for the Citizen of the Year goes again this year to someone who's made a difference for Zebulon. Here's Mayor Matheny, and he will take it from there.
Hello, folks. Bob Matheny, Mayor of Zebulon, and participating in part of the Chamber annual virtual meeting, or the annual meeting, but this year is virtual. And my responsibility is to recognize the William E. Parrish Citizen of the Year Award for 2020. I'm very happy to present that award today in recognition of someone that really has done a whole lot for Zebulon, the children of Zebulon, the adults of Zebulon, and is a real example of someone giving to their community. He's been involved in just a lot of stuff, food distribution, feeding hundreds every month, people that need help, even before COVID. But during COVID especially, a lot of children needed meals because the schools were not open. And so really stepped up to the plate and helped with that. Done a lot of work in the Boys and Girls Club, and including the facilitation or help, if you will, of distributing flyers concerning the census. Been involved with the Do For Him Ministries, which is an outreach program for women based here in Zebulon. Swimming for Jesus is another program, as is Jesus in the Park. So very strong religious core and carries through with that to the community. And then toy donations at Christmas time, which you know, brings joy to a lot of children that wouldn't otherwise have had something or as much for Christmas. A lot of people will come along and say, you know, I have a really good idea and you need to do it. Well, this is a person who says, I have a really good idea and I am going to do it. And that is a strong contribution to the community. So everywhere, every week, he's always giving of himself based in his deep faith in the Lord and the Lord's work. So I want to recognize the 2020 recipient of the William E. Parrish Citizen of the Year Award, Mr. Roger Brantley. I'd like to call forward Roger for the presentation of this award, and this is obviously paper. The original got delayed, the plaque, and so it'll be here later and we'll present it then. But Roger, if you'll come forward, and I want to present this and congratulate you for the very deserving award that you're receiving, and much gratitude for what you do for the community.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm very humbled by this award. I came to Zebulon in 1999 looking for a job, and as I rode through the town, I saw a sign that said friendly people, and I found that to be true. I started my career at GlaxoSmithKline in Zebulon, and it was the first time I'd ever volunteered and worked for a company that shut down their whole operations to go out and do community service. My first experience was with Habitat for Humanity. There's 2 houses behind Glaxo that they built, and I was a part of that, being able to go out and help build these 2 houses for these homes. And inside those homes, I was able to sign my name on some of the wood that helped build the foundation of that house. So as time went on, I was going out and about the town of Zebulon, and I ran into 2 gentlemen, Griffin Todd Sr., and he introduced me to his son, Griffin Todd Jr. And I also met William Parrish. And these two gentlemen knew each other. Their two churches were coming together at a place in public housing over on North Street and in Silver Street. So I went to Silver Street, and there these two churches came together and they were doing something for the kids. So I felt like I needed to do more. So I started a movement with some people to go and do more for the kids in Zebulon. I met with William and Griffin Todd Jr. At McLean's, and William Parrish would be there with his brothers. And these men were always there, always telling me I could do more and to pursue things. I met with a lot of different organizations and other nonprofits and was able to partnership with them to pull everything together for being able to go out and do things in the community. And I'm very thankful to all these people who always been there for me and stood behind me and encouraged me to do more. They saw something in me that I didn't see, and I was always able to lean on them when I came across difficult issues. And I'm very thankful for Ms. Sophia Williams, because she has been my right-hand person and my coordinator, and she has always been there and helped push me even through some difficult times. So I'm very humbled by this award and all those that have believed in me and what I do for the community. Thank you.
Here we are at the end of our first ever digital annual meeting event. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for the businesses that you're supporting by your registration. Be sure you plan a time to use your gift card that came with this registration and support one of our local businesses. Thank you very much.